All right, folks, after game one for the New York Rangers season, we have to talk about Alexis Lafreniere. During the preseason, there were major controversies surrounding his performance, his effort. We even made a video here on this channel talking about it, and a lot of Rangers fans' distaste for Lafreniere throughout the preseason, just how bad it was. And in game one versus Buffalo, Lafreniere shut up the crowd. But we're gonna be breaking all of that down right here, right now, so make sure you watch till the end for all the highlights and analysis, and hit that subscribe button if you're new for more hockey content and breakdowns just like this all throughout the season. Now, after his first few preseason games, I think a lot of us were pretty pessimistic on how Alexis Lafreniere could do this next year, if things would be different, if this would be the year to change things, and you wouldn't really be wrong for thinking that. But after those first few preseason games, heading into the season, it seems like things were starting to turn around for Alexis Lafreniere, especially in practices. And this quote by Peter Laviolette was really important. Laviolette sounded encouraged about Alexis Lafreniere, saying his last few practices have probably been his best. Then Vince goes on to say he looks set for the second right wing assignment, but Peter Laviolette doesn't think singling 13 out is fair. There are a lot of questions about him, but this is also a team sport. So basically just saying that it seemed like Lafreniere was able to earn still a top 6 spot, able to get the opportunity, at least earn the chance to get top 6 minutes, and boy howdy did Lafreniere take advantage. But that's something that Lafreniere didn't really have before, is true faith in the skill set and the potential to be better. With Gallant, if he had the preseason he had, he absolutely would have been starting at least in the bottom 6, maybe even could have been scratched for the preseason he had. But Laviolette knew the potential talent here and is finally having confidence in a kid that has not had confidence at all in his NHL career. And heading into the first game of the year for Buffalo, the second line with Lafreniere on it would be Artemi Panarin on the left, Filip Chytil as the second line center, and Alexis Lafreniere on the right. And this line from the get-go was cooking. But this shift a few minutes into the first period is really where the signs started to show for this whole line. You have Artemi Panarin getting the puck and getting a little bit of pressured into himself in the middle of the ice, in the neutral zone. You can see here Filip Chytil and Alexis Lafreniere coming in on the wings. Panarin gets some space, and he's able to find Panarin for this stretch pass, and here comes Lafreniere putting it in front to Chytil, and he almost is able to tuck it home. But this was a pretty key play for me with Lafreniere that showed some signs that things might be different. We, of course, know how good Panarin can pass the puck, but Lafreniere getting in those areas to maximize the potential of his teammates was something of a problem in years past. Of course, a little bit of passive play, not really using the speed that he could have in a good way, but he uses that deception, gets around a little bit of the defender, and of course is able to get some space, and Panarin is able to get it on the tape. Perfect execution there. And you see him having a good burst of speed, but decides to go for the smart play, putting it in front of the net, trying to bang something home, and Chytil there with the chemistry already is able to work through for the shot. After that play, about 10 seconds later, the Sabres end up cycling it out of their zone, but they get in some trouble here in the neutral zone. Good turnover there. Chytil's able to get some space. Panarin comes through, gets a shot, rebound there, Lafreniere, and it's 1-0 New York. This is what we were talking about as well in the last shift, or at least the last prior sequence for New York, with both Lafreniere, Panarin able to maximize their talent. With Panarin, this was a great rush, but Lafreniere in years past, again, that passiveness was a major problem. Even in the preseason, it was a major problem. But he comes right in, is exactly where he needs to be, has the skating to be able to do it, applies the pressure, and the open net is right there for the taking, and he finally is able to put it through. In the first game of the season, Lafreniere is the first goal scorer for the Rangers. Who would have predicted that? And you can see just how happy he is of it, how hyped up he is for it too. What a goal for Lafreniere, and that is exactly the start to his season that he needed. Now the Rangers would score again, but 5-on-5, this line would continue to generate some solid chances. Puck gets loose right behind the net. Filip Chytil is able to keep it going. He gets some space here. Panarin comes off the wing, puts a solid shot attempt on. But here's the thing, there are some improvements that still could be made. I would have maybe liked to see Lafreniere actually come into the middle of the ice, come into the slot, try to make something happen, tie up a defender, get inside Levi's head, something in front of the net. But still, the chemistry and at least the positional play of these players are looking pretty good. It seems like they're starting to find chemistry in game one of the year, and that's perfect. Now, to give this line credit, a few minutes later with 2:40 in the first, they actually did apply some good pressure in front of the net as well. You can see along the board some good play here. Panarin, great play to get the puck and get some space as well. He's able to go back to the dot right there. Lindgren is going to come in, and here goes the shot. Lafreniere in front of the net. And that's the type of physical pressure I wanted to see applied. You can see there's not really any pressure around Lafreniere, but right before this play, he swung behind the net, came in front, got a little bit of a tip there, but of course, Levi the same. But that physical pressure, knowing that timing, to me for Lafreniere, that is going to be incredibly important throughout this year. That shift, though, was again another good sign. Now we go into the second period, still 2-0 New York, and you can see right here, Lafreniere comes in for the puck, is able to get some space, solid stretch pass ahead for Panarin, and here you keep it going. Good pass along, Lafreniere, great move, able to put it in front. Levi, solid positioning though in front, but that move, we haven't really seen a lot with Lafreniere, and that's what I was, especially in the last video, wanting Lafreniere to show more of. Show us that skill set, make some risks. It makes things happen with the stick. I mean, this is something that I think Lafreniere has been too kind of passive with, and that's really been the name of the game and over these last few years, is showing what he's truly made of. Those type of plays, though, using the shot and actually being confident in the shot, I'm glad to see that, even if it didn't result in a goal. But you know what did result in a goal? This next play by Alexis Lafreniere, which is just pretty sad to see that it didn't actually result in an assist. But you can see the puck is stuck in the Rangers zone. They're trying to get out. Good stretch pass there in front. Hits a Sabre. Lafreniere trying to get that puck from the air. He does. He is able to strip Rasmus Dahlin of the puck, keep it going. Then Panarin right there, and it's 3-0 New York. Just a great play overall by Lafreniere, and it's really unfortunate he won't get credit with any point, because really that whole play was started by Lafreniere, battling two different Sabres to get the puck loose, and Panarin is perfect in snagging it up and making it a result. And you love to see it too. What a snipe on Levi. Perfect shot by the Breadman. Now that would pretty much be it for, I guess, the notable moments throughout this game, but still a great start for a line that needed to really prove a lot, with Filip being placed in the second line spot as well, getting ahead of Vincent Trocheck. He needed to prove that he could put up a great game, which he did. Lafreniere, of course, in top 6 minutes, needing to prove that he can do that on the right wing, be on that right wing spot, and still produce, and he absolutely did today. Should have had 2 points, but he'll still take a goal. But when I tallied it all up, here are the whole box score numbers for Alexis Lafreniere's stint in game 1 versus Buffalo. You can see 1 goal there, probably should have had an assist, but whatever, it is what it is. 91%, 5-on-5 expected goals for percentage, and that was really an example of the entire line. That whole line was amazing at generating chances, keeping the puck in. Lafreniere was amazing and was first in Rangers 5-on-5 expected goals for percentage. Love to see that, continuing to see that great 5-on-5 play. He got a +2 rating, 1 hit, 1 takeaway, solid stats there, 3 shots on goal. And what's interesting here, 4 out of 5 face-off wins. Very interesting. I mean, I don't think Lafreniere is going to be a center, but I mean, if you can put him in and you can win a few face-offs here and there, that's pretty great too. And also 15 minutes and 29 seconds of time on ice. Certainly would be one of the highest in his career. You can see for Lafreniere's career so far, just an uptick year after year in time on ice, but hopefully we see him get even more on that second line and hopefully a little bit more power play opportunity as well. But so far, in a game that he has played a lot in with great teammates and good chemistry, he should have gotten 2 points, but is getting off to a great start this season, which is perfect after all of the drama in preseason. But to me, one of those biggest issues was the lack of assertiveness, the lack of putting himself in play, forcing defensemen to make a play. Give the other team a hard time when you're on the ice. To me, with Lafreniere, this is a player that has ice stealing the talent to do that, has the potential to do that. He was a monster in his draft year still and has been a monster for so long. But I mean, now is the time that we finally see him take that next total step completely. At least if he's getting top 6 time consistently, is given that opportunity to really thrive on offense, then to me, I think that confidence will naturally come shift by shift. That has been a major problem, obviously, throughout his NHL career, but seems to so far be a little bit better. But hey, man, so far Slavkovsky's looking good. So far now Alexis Lafreniere is looking good. I am here for the first overall pick resurgence this season because, man, it would just suck to see these guys actually be busts. And when you look at the game score for his game 1, you can see he was the 3rd most valuable player for the Rangers yesterday. And of course, you see, I think, some pretty big improvements with especially the defensive play, being one of the better Rangers defensively, not just with forwards, but defensemen as well. But you can see it was the production as well as just the good generation of offense. Lafreniere was one of the best players on the ice, and that's great to see. Panarin number 1 doesn't surprise me. That whole line was great, of course. 3 of the players on the line were in the top 5 for game score, but at the same time, that is a great sign. Already in game 1, they have chemistry, they look solid, they look fast, And that's all you could really ask for a second line and more of a complementary line. But at the same time, you still have some great talent there, and it looks like Lafreniere is benefiting incredibly, as he should. And now you look at things for the first overall pick back in 2020, and so far they're off to a great start. You can see has still yet to hit that 40-point plateau. But I want to know in the comments down below if what we've seen so far, if he's stapled on that top 6, do you see him getting past that 40-point mark? Do we see him actually get 20 goals in an NHL season? I think it's certainly possible with the way he's playing and those little subtle improvements that he's made already in game 1. But really, it all comes down to the confidence, and it all comes down to a coach that seems to be working with Lafreniere well, which I wasn't really expecting. It felt like in Washington, there was a big problem with some of the younger players with Peter Laviolette. But right now in New York, it seems to be gelling perfectly. Lafreniere seems to have gotten the message, and might I say it actually might be a successful season for him, which after preseason, I would have thought you were crazy for saying. But also, he's on pace for 82 goals, which I personally say he hits. And for me with Lafreniere, a lot of it just can be, again, the confidence. It can be the line mates. It can just be the opportunity he's been given, and that can lead to confidence as well. But it seems like Panarin, as this fantastic driver of the line, Filipino as this great complementary center, has really gelled in a great way already. And to me, that might have been all that it needed, was the perfect line mates, the perfect situation. And for Lafreniere, that is exactly what he has not gone at all in his time in New York. Since day one, it was the least ideal situation for him to be on the left wing behind Panarin and of course behind Chris Kreider. But now as a right wing, it seems like he's fitting in pretty well on that right side, and that was really his only real path to getting major opportunity on this Rangers team. But it seems like so far it's working, and in the games that matter, it seems like he's doing pretty well. And that is the perfect best case scenario for Lafreniere. The only other issue really becomes power play time, but then again, that's always been an issue for the people on the second power play unit like Kaapo Kakko and Filipino, and that's been a problem throughout, is that first power play unit has been so consistent, so good, and really so stapled that you're not really going to have much movement there. You could take out maybe a Darren, but like, how are you going to take out Panarin? How are you going to take out Zibanejad? How are you going to take out Kreider? Especially in Trocheck's spot as the, I guess, the face-off specialist. Maybe you could have Trocheck go off the ice and bring in a player like Lafreniere, but that's just more effort than it's worth for that Rangers first power play unit that already has been so consistently good over the past few years. So that's really the only thing that is still less than ideal for Lafreniere, and will still probably not change, unfortunately, but it is just the way it is with how this Rangers team is built, that power play time is just not there, which will, of course, unfortunately lead to lesser point totals for players like Lafreniere and Kaapo, and, of course, Filipino. And that's really been the worst part about it all. No matter how well Lafreniere might play, an opportunity in the first power play unit will probably never come consistent. Unless a player like Panarin or Zibanejad magically falls off, which, considering Zibanejad's 3 points in game 1 and Panarin's 2 points in game 1, I don't think is all too likely. But with all that in mind, I could still see Lafreniere having a much better season this year if those top 6 minutes are truly guaranteed for him. Hopefully we see him get past that 40-point plateau, around 20 goals. If we see an improvement in that category, then that'll be absolutely perfect. But more so than just the point totals, I want to see Lafreniere dominate play. I want to see him continuing to get faster, speedier, quicker with his decision making, and really make life hard for the opposition. That, to me, is the biggest sign of improvement, because he's been a great finisher. He's been a player that's been racking up points for how he's played. But to me, having that extra gear, showing that he can have that in the NHL, is important, especially for his position as a first overall pick and the expectations with him. Like Kaapo Kakko has showed those true game-to-game, moment-to-moment amazing moments. And to me, I think with Lafreniere, that is the next step, that consistency, not just the points, but that in-game play. Show us what you're made of, dude, because there is so much talent there still to unlock. But I want to know in the comments down below, am I overreacting to game 1? Do you think Lafreniere is still going to be a bust? Do you still think the season is going to be a disappointment for him? Or are you convinced by what you've seen so far? Do you think a top 6 spot is locked with him? Do you think he'll be with Panarin and Heel for the foreseeable future and will play well on there? And how do you see the rest of his season going? Do you see him getting past 40 points? Do you see him getting more than that? Do you see him having a true breakout season? Let us know down below, folks. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for the full breakdown, all of the news covered. And of course, make sure you share the video for all the hockey, all the Rangers fans you guys know online, and click on this card for all my trade rumor content right in one playlist. My name is Nathan, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, and goodbye.